From others. An audio medium unlike anything you've ever heard before. The pinnacle of sound experience. Jacked and Canned. Featuring John Tessman and Colby Tyler. A place where you will get the information you crave and hear about the topics that you love. Presented by themselves. Coming to you from the basement, bar, and the bedroom. Sponsored by no one. Jacked and Canned.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sports Roundtable of Jacked and Canned. Joined as always by John Tessman. How are we doing tonight on a Wednesday afternoon?
Wednesday afternoon coming at you. This is a new one for us, Colbs. Got out of work a little bit earlier, used some personal time, some personal hours. Me and Rose are going to go on a little date night later on. We're going to try to go get a dinner on the patio because, Colbs, the weather's completely changed. Fall time is 1,000% here. It's getting colder out. There's not much more patio days left, dude. So that's the plans. The plans are to record with you, Colbs, show the audience our brand new Cracking a Cold One with Colb segment. Cracking a Cold One with Colb segment. I totally hacked that. And you have to see the video that will be on there on the Jacked and Canned Show episode that's going to be coming out right after this one. So if you don't follow us on YouTube, go to Jacked and Canned. Colbs, we're actually live on YouTube. Can you believe it? We're live. This is the real deal.
Well, yeah, it's because for the first time in, I'm pretty sure, months, we're actually doing this at a decent time of day.
Yes.
Usually we record the show. I'm half in the bag. You're tired, mostly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the middle of the afternoon. It's like coming up on dinner time. This would be like prime time for afternoon radio. You get the afternoon drive when everybody's getting out of work.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that. I like
Granted,
it.
probably not great for a YouTube audience just because, well, you're not really going to YouTube and drive.
You might. Maybe you will. And if you want to, just do it responsibly and safely. We're with you. We'll be there live with you in the car.
Can there be such a thing as YouTubing safely while driving?
Yeah. All you do, Jacked and Canned on YouTube, hit the play button, and just let it stream throughout your car. Hook it up to your Bluetooth and your speakers. Don't even look at the video and just listen to us.
It seems like it defeats the purpose.
Well, occasionally look at us at a red light or when you park.
All right. Okay. There you have it. John just taught you how to YouTube and drive.
Cheers to that. Cheers to something else, Colbs. This is the Sports Roundtable episode. This is something that we missed the previous week. MLB standings, Colbs. I know you've missed it. Here we go. American League, the AL East, the Yankees sitting on top, followed by the Blue Jays. AL Central, Guardians sitting on top, followed by the White Sox. AL West, we got the Astros, followed by the Mariners. Now, Colbs, something to point out there for the Yankees. I don't know if you heard, but Aaron Judge just hit pretty much a record tying or breaking home run, number 60. Now, there was rumors that this home run ball could have sold for up to $20 million. Colbs, what the hell? What in the flying hell? $20 million to catch a home run ball.
Did they not realize that there's like 4 other people that have hit more than that?
Well, he set it was for the American League, and it was because it set a record for the Yankees organization. That's what it was.
Oh, I forgot. The Yankees, they deserve all of that. Okay.
Well, think about it this way, right? The Yankees, probably the most predominant organization throughout all of sports.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know.
Say that.
You know? Just because they've been around the longest, probably. I don't even know if they've been around the longest. I don't know if that's right, but everybody just knows them.
I mean, I know that baseball was around
like
before the other 3 major sports, but I don't know necessarily what teams were originated from that. I don't know exactly who was playing in the 1800s.
Fair enough. Cheers to that again. However, what I do know is there's another team there in New York. Now that's easy to figure out. We got the New York Mets. Colbs, are you happy? Because they're still sitting on top. They got a game and a half lead over the Braves as we record this on Wednesday, September 21st. You said the Mets were going to collapse. They still have time to collapse. I just want to point that out. But
Yeah,
it doesn't look like they are, Colbs.
I still know what I know.
Oh, Jesus. I was hoping you were going to break on that. NL Central, we got the Cardinals sitting on top. Colbs, obviously, you know how I feel about that. Albert Pujols just 2 home runs away from being part of the 700 club. I'm hoping that he gets there. If he doesn't
How
get
many
there
games
this year,
left do they got?
oh, they're winding down. The regular season here is coming to an end pretty much by the end of this month. There's not many games left. Let's take a look here. Looks like the season will be ending. Yes. Ooh, I was completely wrong. It actually goes a little bit into October. Looks like the season officially ends on Wednesday, October 5th.
All right. So he does still have some time. I mean, the only thing that I'm
2
a little
weeks.
bit worried about for him is I would think that because a lot of teams get petty this way, they'll actually, to not have that home run hit against their team, they'll just walk him.
Oh, wow.
Well, you have to watch it in video clips forever, so everybody freaks out
Yeah.
when it's like a big milestone home run. They're like, no,
Oh.
not against us, and they'll just keep walking them.
Or on the other end, you get a team that you're going against that's really, really bad, and you get a pitcher that knows he might not even be rostered anywhere next year. He might be like, you know what? I wouldn't mind being famous just by getting lit up right now for Albert Pujols' 700 home run. I'm going to groove this thing right down the middle, and I'm going to let him know.
I mean, I know
Hey,
you
this
don't have
thing's
their
gonna be-
schedule pulled up in front of you, but I mean, I think that would be probably their best chance is something almost identical to that scenario.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. But Colbs, that's what we got going on in Major League Baseball. I know we actually skipped the other divisions, but guess what? In Colbs' words, what do we think about baseball?
Nobody gives a shit.
Well, I do, but we'll skip it just for your sake. How's that, Colbs?
All right, sounds
NFL.
good. Johnny, week 2 was fun, huh?
Well, hang on. Who's on top? We got to find out. Here we go.
John, can we wait till week 3? I mean, come on.
We can't. No, we can't. AFC East, the Dolphins on top, Bills on top, AFC West, Chiefs on top, AFC North, Steelers, Ravens, Browns tied 1-1. That's a good one. Oh, Colbs. Oh my God. This is the reason why I want to do the Who's on Top segment for the NFL, because this matters, Colbs.
Yeah,
this
the Jags
matters.
are on top.
The Jags are on top at 1-1 over the Texans, the Colts, and the Titans. Colbs, the Jags are going to win their division. They are going to be victorious in the AFC South. Just throwing that out there. NFC East, the Eagles on top, Giants on top. NFC West. This one is a great one to say out loud here. This one is awesome. Everybody's on top. 49ers, Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks, all 1-1. Thank you. NFC North. Guess what, Colbs? Everybody's on top over there too. Vikings, Packers, Lions, Bears. Oh my!
Yeah, see, this is why I wanted to wait till week 3.
Wait a minute. And NFC South, the Bucks on top at 2-0. There you go, Colbs. That's who's on top in the NFL. You can see it's
You
very
also missed
tight.
the NFC East.
I did, didn't
It's
I?
the Eagles.
No, I
the
said the
Eagles
Eagles
and the Giants.
That's what I said. I said the Eagles and the Giants.
Oh, okay. Well, I missed it. Johnny, where do you want to start? Do we want to talk a little bit about any of the games? Do you want me to go right into the power rankings? What do we want to do here?
So, I want to know what you think about Jimmy G taking over after he was kind of benched to start the season. Now they're saving grace for the season. What's your thoughts? I've been waiting to hear about this ever since the injury took place.
I mean, that injury happened. It was the best thing that could have happened to the Niners organization for this season because they now have a shot at being a good team, and we'll see exactly how good starting this week. They go to Denver for I think it is in Denver. So they go to Denver for week 3 here, and we'll get to see what Jimmy G can put up against not a great Broncos defense, but at least a competent and competitive defense. And on the other end of that, obviously, you have Russell Wilson, who, even though has had a lot of struggles to begin this year, I obviously still think that Russell Wilson's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and it's just adapting to the new system and the new head coach who apparently doesn't, he just does not look like he knows what's going on. There's something off with that coach there in Denver. But this is the beginning of the road for San Fran. And as of last year, I mean, they made it to the NFC Championship game with Jimmy G. So there's all signs that point to really good things for San Francisco. This puts them right back in a race where in the NFC, it's really weak. The Rams haven't really looked themselves yet. Tom Brady hasn't really looked himself yet, even though he's 2-0. I don't know what's going to happen in the NFC. I mean, right now, the best looking team has been the Eagles. And I don't think that that's going to be the case come end of the season, but that's who it's been so far. And beyond that, you look to what other teams could have a chance. And I told you at the beginning of the year, I think it was down between Tampa, LA, and potentially Arizona if they got their shit together. Week 1, they clearly didn't. Week 2, there were so many games, John, that had like these last minute, the game's percentages were less than 1% for the team to win that won the game, not going into the game, going into like the final 2 minutes of these games. Like the Jets come back against the Browns. They scored 2 touchdowns in the final 2 minutes with Joe Flacco. Makes no sense, except that obviously it's against Cleveland. So of course it makes sense because that's one of the other organizations in the NFL that lets that shit happen the same way that the Jets do. We look at that Dolphins Ravens game. Holy shit, John. I have watched the replay of that game at least 4 times. That was the funnest damn game that has taken place this season. And outside of that Chiefs-Bills game from last postseason, I'd say that was probably the funnest game of last year even. That was just a blast to watch. Miami comes back from 3 touchdowns down, win the game there 42-38, which is a score that should excite anybody that loves football. Like there were just so many games that got swapped like last second, and it made no sense. Arizona, by the way, that's where I got on the point. They scored 2 touchdowns and 2 2-point conversions, one of which Kyler Murray ran for a total of, I think it was something along the lines of like 70 yards to get the 2 yards into the end zone. But like just from all the running around he did, I don't know if you saw the highlight on that.
No.
But Kyler Murray legitimately just kept running back and forth and all around and couldn't get an open guy, and then eventually got himself a lane to the end zone. It was like somebody playing Madden. It really was.
What was the best comeback for you, Miami or the Jets?
So, I mean, there's a difference here. The most impressive one is definitely the Jets because what the fuck was that? Like, I don't even know how that happens. But the funnest one was definitely Miami because we've been waiting for Miami to give you some type of excitement with Tua at quarterback, and this was the first time that you really got that 6 touchdown passes, which I don't know if that broke Marino's record or tied it, but that definitely is Marino type game right there. And you got to see the excitement of those receivers and just how fast Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill are in comparison to pretty much everybody else in the whole damn league. It was crazy. That was just a blast to see take place. By the way, Gesicki went up there and made a grab in the end zone on one of those touchdowns. Like that ball, was sold.
I saw that one.
That one was high as shit. Gesicki went up there and slammed that shit down over a rim somewhere. Like, I think he's still coming down from that. I'm not even sure his feet are in yet.
Colbs, I'm looking forward to seeing if the Dolphins climbed up your power rankings just from that game. And I'm curious if the Jets climbed up there too, because the Jets ain't done, baby.
Spoiler alert, the Jets are 26th.
Ooh. You know what? Today, would you go through your whole list if you have an updated one? Because I think we need to hear what has happened. Because this season, to me, is very random. It's very odd. When are the quarterbacks going to start playing good? Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. We're talking that Carson Wentz is better right now, statistically. We're saying Jared Goff is better, statistically. What happened? Like, where's Joe Burrow? He's been off. Derek Carr, he threw a couple picks in the first week. Kind of threw him off.
I wouldn't don't you're mentioning the wrong guys because the right guys are still doing it. And that's Mahomes and Allen. Those guys are absolutely destroying the entirety of the NFL. I cannot wait till they play in the postseason again because there's nobody as good as either of those two teams. Those are by far the two best teams in football right now. It's not even close.
Fair enough. Colbs, would you go over your whole power rankings? Because I'm
No,
curious.
I'm not ripping all 32.
All right.
If you got any questions about a couple of teams, I will answer them.
Okay, here they are. So we know where the Jets are. Minnesota.
Minnesota is 13th.
Okay, not as low as I thought they would be.
Well, remember, they were number 9 last week, John.
Yeah, the Steelers.
The Steelers found themselves at 21.
Giants, because they're 2-0.
Giants 19.
Wow, a little bit higher than I thought you would have them. What about the Jags?
See, I knew you were going to ask me about them, and I actually feel a little bit bad about this one, and I'll explain a little bit, but I have them at 23. Reason being, I feel bad because I think that Jacksonville has played better football than some of the teams that are in front of them. For example, immediately in front of them, I have Tennessee and Pittsburgh, but I'm doing this with the cap of, okay, this is my expectation of Jacksonville. Here's where they played. Here's my expectation of Pittsburgh, and especially with Tennessee, and here's where they've played. So if this continues for another week or two, Jacksonville's climbing this. Jacksonville has a real shot here. Now, granted, this week they play against the Chargers in L.A. I don't think that Jacksonville's getting it done this week, but you know this about me, John. Even in a loss, I can find the team to be very impressive. So they still have an opportunity to move up if they play really well against L.A. this weekend.
Is L.A. still in your top 10?
They are. That's also why I didn't give away Miami yet.
Gotcha. I was curious about that. New England?
New England is at 20.
All right.
They have no offense.
Cowboys. Last one. Cowboys. Dallas.
Dallas is 25.
Wow. Okay, this is really the last one, I promise. The Commanders. I got it right for the first time ever.
17.
Okay. All right, man. Let's jump into the top 10.
All right, let's do it.
Bam!
Whoa.
Oh, no, I thought that was going to do something. We need to work on another audio, a video clip for that for the YouTube audience. Disregard.
Number 10, John, the Green Bay Packers. So with Green Bay, more or less, they still, I know, have Aaron Rodgers, which makes them potentially more dangerous than some of the teams that are underneath them. And they haven't played, I mean, pretty much everybody that's right underneath them has played poorly at some point, with the exception of Detroit, who I am leaving back where I am right now because it's Detroit. And also their defense is pretty bad. Detroit really doesn't have much of a defense. Offensively, they're incredibly gifted, but I need to see more to keep moving them up. But the rest of the teams that are right underneath Green Bay, I just don't see a reason to have them above Green Bay at this point in the season. Number 9, the Denver Broncos, who have really struggled coming out of the gates. I'm not. Well, see, here's the thing, John. I still know that Russell Wilson is their quarterback and that Russell Wilson has the ability to win any football game. And you will see this from time to time with Russell. And keep this in mind. He did this in Seattle too, where there will be almost a level of play that is competitive to the team that he plays against. Russ doesn't blow a whole lot of teams out. It's never been the way that Russell Wilson wins games. So I was a little bit underwhelmed by what they did against Houston, who I do have as number 32, by the way. And I thought that Denver was going to win that one by significantly more, but I'm still holding out that there is the potential that the Broncos really don't lose another game for quite some time. Obviously, big challenge this week with San Francisco coming in, so we'll see what that looks like. I know the Vegas odds on that one are really tight. John, number 8, the Baltimore Ravens. They lose to Miami, but I mean, you can't play much better in a loss.
True.
They did about everything they could. Miami just had more to give. I mean, that was incredible. Granted, I will say you can't just lose Tyreek Hill. I mean, but it happens. It happens to every team. At some point, I feel like everybody's let Tyreek Hill slip by, and they're like, damn it. That one thing that we said don't do, we just did it. But otherwise, I have no complaints about the Ravens thus far this season. I think that they are still a top-level team. Number 7, John, the Miami Dolphins, who did in fact beat the Baltimore Ravens last Sunday. Look, man, I don't know if this ride's going to last, but it's fun right now. This is one of the funnest teams in football. Miami just delivered on the expectation that they've been setting out all preseason. There was a lot of hype going into Miami for this year, and you just saw what it can be. Not that it will be, but it can be. I'm really hoping for a lot more of that, because if that team plays that way, I want to watch every one of their goddamn games. That was awesome. Number 6, the Philadelphia Eagles, who look right now like the best team in the NFC. They honestly have just played incredibly well. I know that they beat Detroit by 3, but Detroit can score points. Philly outmatched their points. And then against Minnesota, a team that I had in my top 10 last week, they like totally throttled them. That wasn't even close. You know, it's funny, John. We'll get to this when we talk about the spreads later, but I had taken 2 10-point favorites, both of which did not cover. I also, since I pick every game, was picking teams like Tennessee to hold close to Buffalo because that was a 10-point spread. That shit didn't happen. I had Chicago covering against Green Bay. Figured Aaron Rodgers' offense this year not looking so hot. Chicago's going to come in there and, they have a divisional rivalry, probably going to have a close game. No, it turns out Justin Fields might be the worst quarterback in the NFL.
Colbs, I texted you a screenshot after that because I saw everybody, just so you know, I don't see a lot of the games, right? Sit down and watch a couple of games here and there. Now, wow. I texted Colbs and I'm like, Colbs, I don't know what to say, man. Like, he doesn't look that good. Like,
no.
In the pocket, I don't know. It looks.
No, it's not. Football is not the game for Justin Fields. Number 5, John, the LA Rams. They didn't do a whole ton. I mean, it was against Atlanta, but they were able to put up 31 points, which I think is a nice start after putting up only 10 against Buffalo. I think that's something to at least generate offense for them that'll get them started. We'll see how it continues. They got Arizona this week, so they got a pretty tough matchup. If Arizona beats them, they will be absolutely dropping this week because I haven't been impressed with the Rams. However, they are the defending Super Bowl champions, who I do believe are one of the best teams in the NFL. John, number 4, the LA Chargers. I don't move them after their loss to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
That was the Chiefs.
I don't blame you.
I thought they were going to lose that game. They lost that game. They look competitive. They looked pretty good in it. I have no reason to knock the Chargers for that loss. I think Justin Herbert too. That dude playing with obviously not, or apparently I should say, not broken ribs based on x-rays that have come back, but he hurt himself.
Extremely bruised.
Number 3, the Tampa Bay Bucks, who have been underwhelming, but
wow.
Remember,
I'm surprised you got him that high. All right.
When Tom Brady started his NFL career, Tom Brady didn't put up a lot of numbers, but the one number that always excelled for Tom Brady was wins.
Yeah.
And even I see, this worries me, John. I'm worried with the offseason, the fact that he already signed a deal to do broadcasting as soon as he hangs him up. I am a little bit worried that maybe he is kind of like, Let me just go out here, because these numbers have been pretty bad. But at the same time, I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, you know what? I don't know that he threw a football since the end of last season. Maybe this is him just getting himself back in the groove. He's shaking off some rust, and we're about to see Tom Brady light up for 4,000 yards over the course of the next 15 games. I don't know yet.
So.
And that's me as well. But Tampa has an incredibly good defense too, John. They're not just solely Tom Brady and them boys. Their defense is really good. So I think that we're going to see Tampa in the NFC race regardless if Tom Brady starts jacking his numbers up or if he continues to play exactly like he's playing. Number 2, the Kansas City Chiefs. Basically just waiting for Buffalo to lose to put them at 1.
Yeah.
The thing is both these teams right now, Buffalo's obviously 1, guys. Buffalo and Kansas City, they're not playing in the NFL. They're playing like some other crazy fucking football league that doesn't even make sense. Nobody can compete with these two teams.
Yeah.
This is like the NFL Plus. I don't know if that could be a thing, but
you know what?
This is
that is a real life thing. You just gave a pitch, ladies and gents. That's no affiliation to our program. We do need them to go ahead and be one of our sponsors. NFL Plus. Plus.
Well, hopefully they carry all the Chiefs and Bills games because, oh my God, those two teams are incredible. Defensively playing really well. And then on top of that, you have what are clearly the two best quarterbacks in the NFL just picking apart defenses, man. They are so fun to watch. I will watch every time that they are put in front of a TV or put in front of me on a TV. I love those teams, John. That's going to do it for the power rankings here after week 2 going into week 3. Johnny, are we ready for how the picks went last week?
Yes, let us know. I feel like I beat you.
Yeah, that's fair to say. So, John, as I always do, I'm going to go through my win-loss total, my spread total, my over-under total, and then I'll go through what we did specifically. So, John, last week win-loss, I went 10-6. Which for the season makes me 21, 10, and 1.
Yeah.
For the spreads, I went 4 and 12. So after going 13 and 3 last week, I go 4 and 12. I am now sitting at 17 and 15 overall. So lost that lead real fucking quick.
Yeah.
And then over-unders, I continued a positive week. I went 9 and 7. So for the season, that made me 23 and 9. So that is where I am standing, currently still ahead in all 3 categories. However, my spread is playing with fire. John, for the picks we gave to the audience last week, I came in last at 1 and 4, which for the season makes me 6 and 4, because last week I had gone 5 and 0. So I am now 6 and 4 for the year, still leading. John, you went 3 and 2 last week. You actually led the week, and that for the season makes you 5 and 5. Sparky for the week went 2 and 3, which for the season also makes him 5 and 5. So right now, I just have a game up on both of you.
So we got chances this upcoming week here, which I'm excited. Tomorrow.
Yeah, especially considering how hot I was in week 1. I'm pissed that it's already back to just one game. I'm like, God damn it. All right, John.
Did you lose your bets on FanDuel?
Well, I don't use FanDuel, but if I were to, the 5 that I give here is the 5 I put money on. So, yeah.
Oh.
It's all right. I went 5 and 0 the week before. I'm still up.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, John. So for this week, I have scoured throughout the entirety of the NFL landscape to give you picks for week 3. John, game 1. I should probably write my little graphic. Shit.
1.
Well, okay. You know what? I'll just write it out over here.
The Jets.
So we got Kansas City at Indianapolis. The Chiefs are -6.5. I am taking the Chiefs there because the Colts are playing with potentially being one of the worst teams in football. And I think that this spread is only this close because people are expecting the Colts to get it back together. I don't know that they're gonna. I know the Chiefs are going to keep it rolling, though. And even if the Colts play their best game this year, it still might not be nothing.
Chiefs.
All right, so I've got the Chiefs. John's got the Chiefs. What's Sparky got? Heads, also the Chiefs. All right, so we're all on the Chiefs there. Game 2, Baltimore at New England. It is Baltimore -3. I am taking Baltimore because I think that New England, once again, has one of the worst offenses in the NFL, and I don't think they'll be able to score enough points to hang around with Baltimore. They were able to do so against Pittsburgh, also one of the worst offenses in the NFL. John, what do you got?
Baltimore.
All right, and what's Sparky the Coin got?
Woo, heads.
All right, we are all on Baltimore. Game 3, we got Detroit at Minnesota. Minnesota is favored by 6. I got Detroit. I'm not sure that they're not better than Minnesota, and I think 6 points is just too many. If this spread was -3, I wouldn't have touched it, but at -6, I feel like Detroit's hanging in there. Detroit can score. Minnesota can go stagnant. If they have one of those games where they are having an inability to put up points, Detroit ain't going to have that problem. I have Detroit, John.
You know how badly I want to say Detroit, but I think this is the game when Dalvin Cook shows his worth, when Justin Jefferson shows his worth too, and Cousins. Even Thielen's going to get involved with this one because I don't think Detroit's got the defense to back it. But
that I agree with.
They still can score. But I'm going to have to say Minnesota.
Okay. And what's Sparky the Coin got?
Heads.
All right. Sparky's with me. All right, John. Game 4. We got Green Bay at Tampa Bay. Tampa is -1.
Wow.
That's just it. This game's in Tampa, and Tampa's favored by a point. I get it that Mike Evans isn't going to be there, but when has Tom Brady ever relied on one receiver? That Brady's going to be fine. Brady's going to win. I've got Tampa here.
They did just pick up Cole Beasley, so I'm curious to see if he's going to be called up for this next game. Boy, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. Chobano. Tampa.
Okay. And what's Sparky the Coin got?
Tails.
All right. We are all on Tampa. Game 5. We have the Dallas Cowboys at the New York Giants. Giants are only favored by 1 here. I had to go with the Giants there. I think that they're going to win the game based on that Dallas without their starting quarterback, even though they were able to do it against Cincinnati. I think that's just Cincinnati's playing terribly right now. They're another team that I had them, I think, 15 in my power rankings. I'm like, they haven't played like even 15. I just feel like you kind of have to keep them in the top half just because it's Cincinnati, who just made it to the Super Bowl, but they look bad so far this year. So I'm going with the Giants here, who are 2-0, and even though they haven't necessarily played the greatest of competition, look, you play who's in front of you. They were able to do it twice in a row. I think that they are the better team with Dak Prescott not being present.
Dallas.
Okay. And what's Sparky the Coin got?
Tails.
All right. So Sparky is with me on all 5 picks this week. So Sparky and I will be having the same record next week. John, you at least got to go different twice. So this is really not going to change a whole ton in the standings for next week, but that's okay. You can have one of these weeks here and there. Sometimes everybody just feels the same way, including a fucking coin. John, any closing notes before we get out of here?
I'm going to get you.
Wow. Okay, Sparky. Nothing on my end, Bubs. We better get out of here. Sparky's starting to shake up. Oh, Sparky. All right, Cole. Oh, my God. Sparky, chill. Sparky. Oh, my God.